Early Monday morning, some Madison gym goers reported having items stolen from their cars. There were incidents from two separate gyms. We know at 6:15, officers were dispatched to a gym along the 4700 block of East Washington Avenue where two cars were broken into while the owners were at a workout class. At 7:15, officers were dispatched to another gym along the 500 block of Tasman Street. Security video shows a car pulling into the parking lot and a passenger getting out, smashing the windows of a car and stealing a purse. No arrests have been made.